our spirit? What is it? Where does it go? Are we able to see them using our mind's eye? If so, just what can spirit teach us? Welcome to School Through Spirit. Host DeEtte Renee is a certified psychic medium and master teacher of psychic and mediumship development through LWISSD. DeEtte was born knowing spirit and now is here to help you better understand the spirit world. And now your host, DeEtte Renee.
Good Monday morning, oh my God, I'm going to cry already. Sorry, guys. I promised I wouldn't do this. Good morning, everybody. Try not to cry. God, I'd stop crying, but good morning, everybody. We're here one last time. Welcome to School Through Spirit. If I can quit crying anyway. This is a show where I guess I'm saying goodbye because fucking A, excuse my language. We're doing this one last time if I can hold it together. I can tell you guys, I didn't expect anybody to show up today, so the fact that you guys are all here, thank you. God, just stop crying. Sorry, guys. I cried before and I didn't think I'd cry anymore, but here I am. So let's see if I can hold it together long enough. And you're going to just have to look at these baggy eyes. I just can't quit crying this morning, but we're doing this one last time just to say goodbye to everybody. As me and Todd were talking before we start this station together, and we're ending it together. And all I can say is right off the bat, I want to say thank you to everybody that's always watched us and listened to us and showed up at all these incredible events to meet me and to say thank you for allowing me to be there, for telling me that what we created was really exactly what we did. This show, as everybody knows, I have this little thing that I do is, where I talk to people of a different spiritual nature, but really the basis of the show, and I don't know, I think people got it, was to help you feel, there's so many people I found that really had a hard time. Good morning, everybody. Really had a hard time with understanding themselves or feeling normal in a really messed up world and not understanding themselves, not understanding those quirks that maybe society doesn't teach us. And that was my platform. That was this platform to bring people to you that maybe you resonated with, people that you went, wow, God, that's me. God, I have that. And now I can sit back and listen and learn about somebody else that has those quirks, those different things, no matter what it was, and to realize that you weren't alone, that there was somebody out there that was just like you, and they were making it their life. They were making it part of them, and they were making it huge for themselves. And it made me realize, that with you guys finding me and you guys showing up and you guys doing everything that you always do, it made me realize that what we did here was magical. And I will tell you guys, I had a woman drive 12 hours to an event to meet me, to give me a hug, to say thank you, and to sit down and say she wanted a reading in person because I was the only person that ever did a reading for her. Ever. And that from there on out, I was the only person she was going to trust. And she met me literally by watching the show. So I want to tell right off the bat, before we do anything, I want to say thank you to everybody for showing up and for listening and for trusting and for just getting it. And that's what I want to start with. Now that hopefully I got these tears under control, but we're still going to do this the way we always do. Although Spirit's got something in my head. I love you too, Sherry. Thank you, Sherry, for always being the backbone to this whole thing. So one last time, we're going to open up this book. And you know what? Since it's the last day, I've always told you a viewer sent this to me. And I'm going to tell him thank you right now because it was Tim Bear, guys. Tim Bear is the one that sent me this book. And since the day I received it, I've used it. I will tell you what. I've been at an event and he knows I don't travel with it because it's a big book. And on days he thinks I might need it, he flips it open and he sends me the page and it always seems to be correct. And I want to say thank you, Tim, because you know what? This has been incredible and became part of the show. So for everybody that loves the messages, you can go to Neil Diamond Walsh online at his website and you can actually click the button to get a daily thing from Neil. It's not as wordy as this book is, but they're still beautiful and you can get them Monday through Friday and it's awesome. So yeah, it is, Deb. It's the last one. Oh, you'll see me soon, Deb. I already know that. That's coming. So let's flip the page one more time and see what it says. It's gonna make me cry. Beautiful picture, huh? It says the greatest help you can give another person is to wake them up. Guess that's what the show was about, huh? It says sometimes the best way to love someone, the most help you can give, is to leave them alone or empower them to help themselves. It is like a feast. Again, my eyes are so watery I can barely see through it. Life is a smorgasbord, and you can give them a big helping of themselves. Remember that the greatest help you can give a person is to wake them up, to remind them of who they really are. There are many ways to do this, sometimes with a little bit of help, a push, a shove, a nudge, and sometimes with a decision to let them run their course. Follow their path, walk their walk without any interference or intervention from you. What you have the opportunity to do is to remind them that is cause them to be of a new mind about themselves. And you also have to be of new mind about them. For if you see them as unfortunate, they will be. Give people the help they ask for rather than the help you want to give them. So as to empower them at the level which they are ready to receive empowerment. However, make sure your help is offered in such a way that it creates continued independence rather than independence or reliance on you. Then you will really be doing your best to help another. Damn. And I will tell you with that part, I've told a lot of people over the last few weeks that have told me, you got to keep this going. You've got to find a way. You got to make this happen. And I am a person that will fight something to the bitter end. Like, no, I'm losing, but I'm going to fight. And Spirit told me to know, let this go. Let this go. And I went, but I show up for people. And they won't let this go. And I didn't understand why they were telling me to. And I think that last line is, make sure your help is offered in such a way that it creates continued independence rather than independence and reliance on you. And I think that's what Spirit's talking about, is that I've been able to show up for 3.5 years, and I've been able to show up with so many incredible people. And they've given you all so many ways to look, to feel self-empowered, just go, wow, I'm not alone, and this is a real thing, and I feel magical, and Dad has a witch on, or I feel like, gosh, I just know things, and I have some incredible psychic mediums on, or gosh, I really have this thing for the eerie, creepy, and Dad brings on expedition entity or something. And I'm hoping, hey, Larry, speaking of, thank you, Larry. And I think it's time that all of you are able to go out and say, you know what? I got these things that are going on in me, and I don't understand them, but I do know how to find those things. I know how to find that I'm normal and that I'm just part of a huge family of people that are the same. But when you're looking at the closing of the door, like this is, guys, when you're looking at the closing of the door, which is incredible. It's incredible because again, I've grown with you guys. I've grown with you guys. Todd had brought it up. He's like, gosh, Dan, if we could look at some of your earlier shows, like some of the first ones, gosh, the first shows we were audio, and I was on a Dell Windows computer and living in a place that had no reception. And, I will tell you when I actually went live, I was in a basement. And thank God I had city internet because at least we were able to make that work. But when the family moved out here to the boondocks, my son-in-law built me a space with a wall because he does construction with a soundproof wall so that I can sit in his space and not hear the noise of kids and everything, and I could have this clear crisp. The problem with that was the internet couldn't get through the wall because it is satellite internet, and it was really splotchy, and Todd had to somehow keep it together for me as I came on and I fell off, and all that wonderful stuff that happens when your internet isn't strong. And when we finally went live, I didn't want people to see me because I was over 250 pounds and I had curly purple hair and I was hiding behind all of it. And here I was going live all the way through to a new room, to a new area, to having days where Todd would laugh at me because I would see something on my desk like this and I would go, hey, endorsement. And I think the first endorsement I did was for Twix. And I did it just to be fun. And this one's Nature Valley. So there you go. To watching me, you guys have watched me through my weight loss journey, my surgeries of my hand, to straightening the hair, let my natural color come out, to allow me to show up, and all these beautiful growths. And as I've watched you guys grow, you've watched me grow into somebody that doesn't hide anymore and somebody that shows up. And I think the biggest lesson for all of us is to literally look at it that, you know what, we've been on this incredible journey and it is time to shut this door. It is time to say goodbye to this platform, but it doesn't mean it's the end of growth. It doesn't mean that, when you shut the door that you're stuck in a closet, guys, because we didn't. We opened the door of the closet. We blew that door off. We blew the walls out and we walked out of it because we weren't going to be stuck in a closet anymore. And we allowed everybody to say, you know what, I'm a witch too, or I'm a psychic, or I'm a ghost adventurer, or I believe in angels, or whatever the show topic was that day. But now that we blew the doors off of that closet, we're finding ourselves in a very large room. And the doors have been shut inside of this huge room with all these doors. And now we have to wait for the doors to open. And I'm going to tell you, I do believe the doors have already opened. I do believe, I know in my room alone, my bedroom alone, guys, I've got 2 doors. Literally, I've got a door to the house. I got a door into my office back here. I've got 2 sliding glass doors on either side. My bedroom has 4 doors. And when I walk in here, I have another door back to the outside. And I've blown all those doors open. And I don't know about you. I'm not going to stop doing what I do. I'm not going to stop showing up for people. I'm not going to stop showing up for myself. And I do know as those doors open, it's just a matter of which door I want to walk out. Which door do I want to blast open and create a bigger space, a bigger platform? And I don't know what that's going to be. And that's okay that I don't know what it's going to be, because it doesn't mean it's not going to happen. It just means it hasn't happened up until this moment, as far as I know. As far as I know. And I got a realization of that this weekend. I got a huge realization of that this weekend. Because this weekend, I had so many incredible people. Oh my gosh. Just people that have big names on TV to people that don't have names on TV. And they're just as big, just as incredible. And everybody again kept saying, you need to keep this alive. You need to keep it open. And I kept going, no, no, no. And I thought about it. I entertained it. And then Saturday afternoon, late Saturday, it was late Saturday afternoon, where I was really busy, really busy. Maybe it was late Friday and then going into Saturday. I can't remember. Crazy weekend. But I kept hearing this from many people going, Jet, it's so crazy. I have Paraflix on because, they're avid, ghost hunter watcher people. And they're like, all of a sudden I hear your voice and I turn around and wow, you're on the station with this cast, with this show. And they give it a few moments, they watch and they love it. And then they go on to cleaning their house and it's their background noise or whatever they're doing, whatever. And a few hours have gone by and all of a sudden they hear my voice again. They're like, they turn around, they're like, there you were again on Paraflix on a different show. And they were like, this is crazy. Like, where are you? And I started telling people, I'm like, where's Waldo? Where's Dad? Where's she going to show up next? Where's she going to pop up next? Who knows? And I'm still telling you, who knows? But I also realized I don't have to put myself in a box. And I don't think you guys have to put yourselves in a box. I think you guys got to realize that. And I shouldn't say you have to, because you don't have to do anything. This is your journey and you can do whatever you want. But this is where we stop and we realize and we go, wait a second. Sometimes we're just going to take a breath and go, okay, where are we going to show up next? What are we going to do next? What are we going to say yes to next? What are we going to explode open next, just for the fun of it, to maybe watch it close behind us? Where are we going to shift to next? And I do know that I am hoping that, with that being said, I'm hoping that each one of you takes a little piece of me with you and realizes that you have your own platform individually on a day-to-day life where you empower other people, where you show up and share a little bit of yourselves and realize that, these people that you're around are just waiting for you to show up, to help them, to empower them, to embrace a little bit of knowledge. It's incredible that, it's super incredible to realize that each one of us have an alter ego. Each one of us have something else that just says, this is the other name that I hide behind, or this is my true name. This is the true person I am. But we don't necessarily put that out to the world. And I will tell you what, as much as I said that I was out of a closet before this show started, I will tell you I wasn't. I was very much hiding. I was very not who I am today. And I can tell you for right now, guys, I'm no longer in a closet. I have put all of me out there and I have showed myself up. I almost decided to do a pajama party today and throw myself up in a big bun. And for all you guys don't think I don't have makeup on, you can see the tears that wiped it away, because I do wear makeup on a pretty regular basis. But I almost showed up without the makeup, hair in a bun, jammies, maybe no bra, who knows, and just showed up and said, guys, this is me stripped down in the raw, but let's still incredibly have a great time. And I think that's what this show has done, whether you do your hair and makeup every day, or for the guys that don't, just say, screw it, I'm going to brush out my beard or whatever. It is every day we're showing up as the raw individual of who we are. Every day. Every day showing up saying, this is me. Because every day that you show up and you don't say, this is me, every day that you don't show up and you are not your true authentic self, and you don't allow yourself to be touched by somebody else's graces, or allow yourself to touch somebody else, you're hiding from them. You're robbing them of you. And that's, oh, Lee, I love that. Good morning. Oh, hi, Miss Jamie. But you are, that's what you're doing. You're robbing somebody else of you. We never think of it that way, do we? We never think that when we don't show up as ourselves, we think if we show up and we are hiding ourselves, hiding part of ourselves, um, hiding our light, that we are saving somebody else. But quite frankly, we are hiding ourselves. We are stealing ourselves from somebody else. We're telling somebody else, you don't get the opportunity of meeting me. You don't get the opportunity of being part of my life. You don't get an opportunity to show up and stand with me. And I was reminded of that this weekend because I don't know if y'all know this, but I play in a couple of different worlds. There's multiples of DI. There really is. And it's not that I'm a fake person in any aspect, but I play a lot in the airy fairy world of fairies and psychics and healers, and gosh, it's just incredible. It's the magic and it's the fantasy for most, and it's reality for me. And I get to show up there. And I'll tell you what, you have never been at an event until you've showed up when I walk through the door. Because my energy is high and it's explosive and it's, hey everybody, and and I'm gonna lift that room's energy to the angels. And it's fun and I'm bubbly, and it never fails when I walk up and I'm explosive like that. Even those that are grumpy and never smile, well, I will look over and I'll just see the smile and they'll go, oh God. And I see their step lighten. And that's very much me. For those that are in the airy fairy world, like you were in Glendale this weekend, you see me in my paranormal world where I show up. The energy's there, but it's different. It's contained differently. It's more subdued. It's drawn down. Okay. And literally, and I'll tell you, Danny Loosemore is the one that I was talking about this morning, or that I think it was Saturday early morning before we got started. Or no, it was yesterday morning. I don't know. The days are melding together. And he goes, why wouldn't you show up the way you do for us, for them? And I said, well, I can't. And he goes, why? Why would you not? That's beautiful. And I went, well, it's not that I'm hiding that light, because trust me, they see the giddy Diet that's running around going, I get to do the Estes method. And I'm so excited. And they're going, wow, look at her go. And they love to watch that excitement. But if I showed up with all that energy into a haunted location, trust me, I'm going to, the cat balls and the rim rods and all the equipment that I have no clue where to have most of the names are. I'm going to be the one that is exploding all those. And that energy I carry is going to go lights everywhere. And we're going to get a lot of false readings. So I can't present with all that energy. I've got to tone it down. I've got to pull it back. I've got to go, hold on, cowboy, and pull it back. But they do get to see that part of me outside of the event. They get to see that part of me outside of the investigation. But I do understand that I've got to be a different role. But it also showed me that, what, part of me still blossoms out. That inner part of me still shows up and says, hey, I'm here. And I'm not hiding who I am. I'm just reining in my energy. And I'm still showing up for everybody. And I'm still not hiding. And I'm still presenting myself as to say, you know what, I'm going to show up, because not that I'm glorious and, oh my God, you can't live without me, but you're showing up at the same time I am, because I'm supposed to share myself with you and you are supposed to share yourself with me, and we are supposed to get something of each other. It's how we influence each other. It's how we share our knowledge, our energy, parts of us. It's how you don't rob somebody else of your experiences. You don't rob somebody else of you. It's how when they walk away, they feel a little bit more empowered. They feel a little bit more enlightened. They feel like, wow, thank God they got to meet you. And I'm going to tell you, there's not going to be too many times that you don't show up for something that you're not going to have that experience. And I'm not going to say they're going to get it immediately. They might have to walk away and really go, I feel a little lighter. Or maybe it's a little heavier, because a lot of people that meet me, I don't know why this happens, but a lot of people that meet me go away with either light bulbs that went off and they went, oh my God, so many things click. Or they walk away going, damn, I got homework to do. But it's so amazing when it happens. It's mind-blowing to see that when I show up, how I affect people. When I show up and I am myself, that I affect them. And sometimes I don't have to give them any food for thought. I just have to show up. And maybe it's as a reminder for them to just show up. So I'm here to tell you guys today, to remind you to still show up. We may not be together next Monday morning or any other Monday morning, but it doesn't mean that every Monday morning you can't open a book, any book. It doesn't mean that you don't go, hey, Siri, what do I need to know today? It does. My Siri goes, oh, that's a big question, and shuts it back down. It doesn't mean that you don't continue to explore all those things. Excuse me. Good morning, darling. It means that you're not going to have me to guide it, but it doesn't mean you can't guide yourself. So it's when you wake up on Monday morning, next Monday morning, what I really want you guys to do is I want you guys to wake up and go, wow, this is what's been kind of hitting me, and Google it. This weekend, I had some crazy experiences and And really what it came down to was, oh my God, why did I meet this person? What's this person's about? And Google them. Be that rabbit hole person and go down the rabbit hole and find out why that person entered your life, or what about that person has intrigued you, and Google that one part. Continue the journey, guys. Continue your journeys. Blast open the doors. Like I told you, I've got 6 or 5 doors presently, and I'm going to blast every one of them open. And I hope you do that with me. So, guys, we're going to take our commercial break, and when we get back, we're going to bring in Miss Jody. This is Jet with WLTKDB.com on School Through Spirit. See you in a few.
Looking for a unique paranormal experience? The Haunted Rock Island YMCA Paracon, October 7th, from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. is just the event you're looking for. You will have the opportunity to investigate the Haunted Rock Island YMCA with ACG Paranormal. Visit with over 60 paranormal and metaphysical vendors from 8 or more states. And pre-order your t-shirts at dvinar@aol.com. Visit a psychic gallery reading, mediums, tea leaf reading, animal communication, dream interpretation, aura reading, tarot and oracle card readings, or get a Reiki healing. See a demonstration of the Estes Method by Carly Bird. Presentations by Nick Simons and Aaron G. Thompson of 28 Days Haunted, Greg Bakken from Ghostbox Radio, and headliner Rick Hayes, along with many folks you'll see on Paraflix. Be sure to like and follow our sponsors: Paraflix, WLTK DB Talk Radio LLC, Studio 6 Productions, Unturned Pages, and Ocean Eye Crystals. General admission is only $5, and all proceeds go directly to the Haunted Rock Island YMCA. For more information on the Haunted Rock Island YMCA Paracon and vendors, look for them on Facebook under Events.
Hey everybody, Welcome back. This is Jan on School Through Spirit with WLTKDB.com. Still trying not to cry anymore. But this morning, I have Miss Jody Jacobson on, and I'm going to tell you, you are going to love Jody. She is a real bona fide broom carrying, spell casting Cabot witch. I don't know how much more blatant I can put that out. And if you've never heard of a Cabot witch, it is Lori Cabot of Salem, Massachusetts. I'm going to give you a little bit of backstory on Lori that I know. Well, Jody could definitely explode this open a lot more than I could. Lori Cabot was probably, she's not obviously the first American witch, but she is really the first witch that showed up and said, this is me. I'm going to wear my clothes, my black, her cape, walk the streets and be our authentic self. She is probably the first one that showed up and said, this is who I am. And she happened to do it in Salem, Massachusetts. That's where she made herself her home. There's a documentary on Lori that is just an amazing documentary. And she made being a witch a household name. She made being a witch normal. Not something that you have to be afraid of. And she made it realize that, you know what, there's a little bit of a witch in everybody, whether you push that out and live it, or if, you're just going to hold on to that little bit. And I'm so happy that Jody decided to take that plunge, that jump into that and become one of Lori's Cabot witches. And Jody also owns Midwest Witchery up in Minnesota. And gosh, I think sometimes she might have gotten stoned up there. Who knows? But she will let her share that story about her running herself and being her authentic self on a regular everyday basis. So welcome in, Jody.
Hi.
Hi, hon.
How are you?
Fantastic.
I have to give you a little bit of grief because you were talking about, a rural witch carrying, broom carrying witch. So, hey, here we go. Here's one of my brooms that we actually sell here at the
I
shop.
love that. Well, it's really funny, Jody, because I did say there was a little bit of a witch in everybody, and I did from you.
You did. Wait. Should we get our hats on?
Well, mine's cooler than yours because mine's the Harry Potter one.
I gotta get some of ones too. But no.
I love how you're doing the stereotypical for everything, but all that stuff does have meaning. And that's what people don't realize is that stuff. They don't realize that a witch wears a hat for a reason. A witch carries a broom it's not because Halloween showed up and there's a moon and let's go get naked and jump on this thing. That would hurt. It's
nobody wants to see this witch naked. I'm just no. we might scare the locals.
I love it.
I
think you scare the locals sometimes anyway.
We probably do, but we do live in Stillwater. Just don't want to go there. I don't want to get arrested. No, but we do, our brooms have a significance. The hats have a significance. The wands, everything has a significance. Yes. Everything
right. And I love this. Lee wants me to clarify because she goes, when you get stoned in Minnesota, you have to clarify.
Oh, no. I'm a nurse.
She's like, I'm not against it, but I'm an RN.
We're talking the rocks. No, I'm an RN. I don't have a problem with people partake. I am actually quite happy that they've legalized it here in Minnesota because I think there's a lot of wonderful health benefits for specific things. But no, I don't partake. Sorry.
Maybe next year when she retires. Who knows?
I'll tell you, years ago, I tried it. I get ultra paranoid. So probably not.
I get you. I look at people and get hypercritical. So there you go.
Yeah. So, it lowers your inhibitions, and it makes you just be you. But no, I do. I'll state I walk the walk. I talk the talk. I've known Diet for a year now, a little over a year. And she knows I'm a straight shooter.
Yeah,
I'm a straight shooter. You can ask me anything. I'm happy to educate and teach. And that's what I created this place here for. When I was a little girl and I realized I had gifts, I was quite young. I mean, I was like under the age of 5. I was 3 years old when my great grandmother passed away and I kept seeing her. And My mom would just be like, yeah, 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 typical parents kind of poo-pooing it off. I remember going out and talking with nature. Like I used to sit underneath this oak tree. I grew up on the Apple River,
Oh,
above all the crazy tubing stuff, mind you.
right.
I grew up in the Apple River and we had this beautiful oak tree. And it was like, I remember in the fall, it was like the golden yellow oak that would drop the leaves. And I would just sit under it. And I felt like it just was like kind of wrapping me in its energy. And I would talk to it. And I got really smart. So when I was in grade school, I was never really good at math. Go figure, being a nurse, right? But long and the short of it, I would be like, hey, I need to be able to do really good on this test. So if you help me do really good on this test, I'll give you something in return. I'd bring water, I'd bring, like little quartz, rocks that I would find in the river, little trinkets. What I didn't understand is I was grounding and centering because I was sitting on the ground,
Mm-hmm.
leaned up against this tree, and it calmed me so I could focus in and learn what I needed to learn for mathematics and tests. I know that now as an adult, but when I was little, I didn't know that. I just figured it was a magic tree and it talked to me and it was my friend. So I had these abilities.
Right.
Being in a conservative town in New Richmond, Wisconsin, where I grew up, there's not a lot to go to out there. It's a lot of farms, a lot of churches, a lot of bars. That's kind of from Wisconsin, right?
Yeah.
And so I kind of had to figure my way out. There was one library in town and I went there and the one book talked about devil worship and I knew that was wrong. And like most people brought up in this area, I was brought up Christian. And so I was Missouri Synod Lutheran. It was like a Catholic and a Baptist had a baby and that was it. So very strict. And so I had to deal with a lot of, uncomfortableness. And I figured myself out and it was all great. And I just kind of did it kind of quietly. And I kept doing what I did. And I kept talking to spirit. My dad died when I was 7. I continued to see him after he passed.
Wow.
Did different things. And as you got a little older, I got to be 16. I could drive over to the big bad Twin Cities because, everybody was afraid of it at the time, to find an occult bookstore to kind of really figure myself out. And at about that time, we were talking about Lori Cabot.
Right.
I happened to see her on Oprah Winfrey.
Okay.
Sitting on a panel, and it was her, a couple other people. I don't remember all the people on there. You can actually go to YouTube and probably Google this, and it'll pull it up. But she was on TV, and she was going up against Hollywood because they had just released or were about to release, which is Eastwick.
Right.
And she's like, okay, you guys got this wrong. First and foremost, we are not devil worshiping women or men. What you don't understand is witches a witch means wise woman, and that, we're scholars, we're doctors, we're lawyers, we're nurses, we're teachers, we're this. We're here to heal and to help the community. We do not do anything nasty. So when you see those pentagrams placed on stuff, quit saying it's the sign of the devil, because an upside down pentacle is a symbol for the Satanic Church. Yes. The upside right pentacle actually represents spirit at the top, and it's the elements air, fire, water, earth. And so in a circle, so that is what the pentagram or pentacle is representing.
Oh, okay.
And so it actually is encompassing your elements along with your higher power. And we look at spirit as a great divide, a male and a female. So you have equality in men and women, or male female energies, because everything has a give and a take. Everything has got a polarity. Where there's dark, there's going to be light.
Right.
When you go up, you're going to go down. So you hear the saying, as above, so below. So this is where this came from. And she intrigued me. And I'm like, oh, she became my witch idol. And I was like, I got to meet this woman one day. So I did a little research, and it was a little harder back in the day because we didn't have internet and whatnot. And she's been on In Search Of with Leonard Nimoy. She is a true psychic. She has helped in investigations. She's worked with the police. She's been an actual teacher at Salem University. I mean, she is the real deal.
She's done a lot.
She's done a lot for the community. And she actually opened the very first witchcraft store in America, as far as I'm aware. She did this, I want to say it was like around the early 70s, between 70 and 72, somewhere in there.
It was really early. Yep.
It was really early. And she's got two beautiful daughters named Jody and Penny. And she was a divorced woman with two children. And how this all came about, she had a kitty cat, and it was a little kitty cat that got caught up in a tree. And she talks about this. If you go out and YouTube her, she'll talk about it. The cat was caught in the tree. Nobody would come and help her. She couldn't get this cat out. So finally she got mad. She called the fire department. They're like, lady, we ain't going to help you get the cat out of the tree. It'll come down. And after a couple of days, she was very worried about her cat, and it was her familiar. So she got a little heated, I think. Right. I think she just was upset. And she's like, look, I'm a witch. That's my familiar. Please get my cat out of the tree.
Right.
Startled a few people. She got the kitty cat down. And that's when she was like, I'm done with this. When we wear black, now my outfit that I'm wearing today is not black, but when we wear black, it represents all the colors in the spectrum. It's protective. It's taking all the colors in, and it's protection. The hat, when we talk about the hat, the pointingness, it's to take your power to build up. For those of you who understand chakras and understand energy flow, it's building that power like a cone of power to release out. And it can also be a veiling in an aspect too. So this is where the hat comes from. But she was just done. She was like, I'm done with this. I'm going out. I'm going to be my authentic self. And she has done that. And to be quite frank with you, she worked with the city and made it what it is. I mean, she's really made it okay. She worked with, I want to say it was her, Selena Fox, and a couple other people. They worked with the government.
And Selena's over here in Minnesota, is upper Wisconsin.
I've met her many a times. She's a fantastic woman.
Someday I want to meet her.
Oh my God.
I'm not a witch in this lifetime, but boy, I want to meet her.
Well, I met her at Paganicon, and every once in a while she comes out for that. So, and I'll talk about that shortly, but Lori did a lot for the community. I mean, her, Selena, a few other people, they actually made it okay. Did you realize in the early 70s, if you were in the military, you could carry two articles that represented religion. One was a Star of David. The other was a Christian cross. What about those that were pagan? Because pagans fight for our country too. They weren't allowed to carry anything. So they fought long and hard to be able to do that. And now today you can actually get the pentagram on your headstone from the military, which years ago you couldn't do. So I think that's a fantastic thing that we're
that's huge.
Yeah. So she did a lot for the community. So back in 2015 is when 2015 or 2016, I'd have to go down and look. I want to say it's 2016 now. I went down, or my daughter and I went out to Salem, and we just went out there for a trip. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to meet Lori Cabot. I was like all freaked out. And I found her little shop. And I strolled on in, small town girl from Minnesota, mind you.
Right.
And I'm wearing a pair of jean shorts, a white t-shirt with nothing on it from, Target, right? And I had hair pulled in a ponytail with my baseball cap on it that says, hold my drink, I got to pet this dog. So, I'm very looking witchy, right? Not at all. And I walk up to the register, I ask and inquire. I wanted to get a tarot reading by her, just to sit with my witch idol. And they kind of giggle and they're like, do you have an appointment? And I said, no. And they're like, yeah, we're booked out like, I don't remember, 3-6 months, because she's, a big ordeal out there. I had no idea. Right. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's all right. Well, thank you. You're only in town for the weekend, blah, blah, blah. I'm shopping. I'm literally shopping in her little place. And she actually came out of the back room, and she had been working, doing tarot reading. And she was walking up to me and she's shaking her finger at me. And I'm like, oh, good Lord, what did I touch? I'm pissing off the head witch. That's all I could think of.
Right.
She just walks up to me and just has a conversation with me. She goes, do you know you're a healer? I see this big, huge aura around you. You're very healing, this loving energy. I see you doing all this wonderful stuff. I actually see you in a community and educating people about witchcraft, blah, 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 blah. Number one, she had no idea I was a nurse.
Right.
I'm a Reiki master. I'm certified in healing touch. She had no idea about any of this.
Right.
So there's the healing aspect. She had no idea that out here in the Twin Cities, we have an event called Paganicon. It's a huge witches conference every spring around the spring equinox. It's in March, and it's been running, oh my God, 14 years, 15 years this year. And I am usually one of the presenters. So I teach classes on herbalism, on witchcraft, on healing, and how to incorporate herbs and health into your witchcraft.
Right.
And I teach locally in the area, or I was at the time. She had no idea about that. And she's telling me how she saw me having this store and da 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 da. So I was like blown away. As I go to check out, I bought a couple crystals or something. The guy behind the counter, who happens to be my best friend out there right now, his name is Brian. And he goes, "Did you know she has classes?" And all I could think of is, "Honey, I've been doing the witchcraft thing since I was itty bitty. I don't need to have classes on." He goes, "No, you don't understand. She teaches it in a different way because she does teach it as a scientific course. She's like a science type major. So she teaches the science behind the craft. Then she goes into the art of the craft."
Right.
So I did. I took the courses. So I am a second degree Cabot witch.
Yeah, for now.
Yeah.
I keep saying for now. Like, you guys don't know. I telling her by next year she'll be well on her way to a 3rd degree.
I probably will not. No. And here's why. Do the 3rd degree. It is intense. I'm not ready for it. Now, I have been a 2nd degree since 2020. So I've been a 2nd degree for a few years. I'm not ready. The dedication that you put into it, because this is a lifestyle, and I am very dedicated, and I am very honored to say that I am a priestess in the Cabot tradition through the Hermetic Temple. I'm very grateful for that. But the intensity of the course at this moment in time, I couldn't commit. I mean, you have to be out there they have to ask you, first of all, and I would be honored to be asked, but you have to dedicate to be out there every Sabbath. There is 8 Sabbaths in a year, and you need to be there 6 of those Sabbaths. Well, I run a store and I'm a nurse. That would be really hard for me to do right now. Talk to me in a few years when I could slow things down more. Yes. And which Diet is very true. I am retiring from nursing altogether here.
You're retiring from nursing. You're taking my advanced classes that are pretty intense.
They're very intense.
And I'm looking at you going, she's preparing. She doesn't even realize she's preparing, but she's preparing to go into that next journey to go.
Preparing.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Because I have.
And how many times have you been to Salem in the last few months?
June, and I'm going here in a couple of weeks. And I don't know. So you guys, if I look like I'm staring at, I'm looking at the camera to my thing. So I hope I don't look like I'm like.
No, you look like you're looking at it. I giggle because, guys, a little backstory. What Jody's not saying, we've met, but we met for me to start teaching at her store. And then she started taking my classes because she took the first one because I was there. And my advanced classes are pretty intense. I mean, they are like, here you go. And she's like, I've been telling her since I've met her, you'll be a 3rd degree. She's like, no, not ready, this and that. I'm like, and I've heard this from her a few times, but I know with what she's doing, she is preparing herself to go, I can do this. It doesn't take as much time as I think.
Well, and I think the biggest thing is I have to be done with the whole nursing aspect.
It's the nursing thing. I don't think that's hard.
I can't jump into the deep end that much.
I think you're close to done with the nursing anyway.
I am. I think I'm going to hold out until the end of the year, into December. I've been a nurse for over 20 years, and actually 20, 25, I don't know, 20, 25 years, too long to count.
Right.
And my body is just like, you're just kind of done. And I'm like, yeah, I kind of am. I don't have time. I opened this beautiful store here. Lori told me that this was going to happen. And she kind of got on my hiney when 2020 hit. I had been out there. I was actually the very last in-house class with her. Now I think they may have reopened it up. I got to be honest, off the top of my head, I don't know. But for a while, it was just only online because of COVID.
Right.
So I was very, very lucky. I got to sit in class with her and stuff. And my elders, I mean, there's so many of them, so many wonderful elders. I can't even name them all. You've got Bree, you've got Jackie, you've got Ernest, you've got, John, you got just too many to count. Now we got Danelle, who is a brand new 3rd. She's from Minnesota. So there is 3 Cabot witches here in Minnesota. And so that's pretty exciting for me. So I have brethren here, but to be able to be in her presence, it is, holy moly, you guys, the energy is just, I mean, she's the real deal. She's 90 years old. She'll be 91 in March. and just to be in her presence and be a part of this and to have had this opportunity has been so enlightening for me. Dia, again, has gotten to know me very well over the year and watching me grow. And she's seen my abilities go crazy with what I've learned and what I can do. I mean, excuse me, I shocked the poop out of myself. I'm just saying.
You can say the shit word all you want. This is the last show. What the hell are they going to do? Kick me off?
Right. Well, I shock the shit out of myself a little bit when people come in and all of a sudden I hear spirit coming into me and they're like, hey, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, and they're like, tell them now. And I'm like, okay. And then I ramble it on and they'll just look at me like, how did you know that? How? I'm like, because spirit told me. Yeah. And you needed to hear this. And so I've really come into it and I'm really proud of that. But when 2020 hit, Lori kept saying, you need to open the store, because I had reached out to her and I said, I want to be one of the RNs to go to New York and do the da-da-da-da-da-da. And I'm talking to her, I think it was the beginning of March. And we didn't know the impact that we were going to have quite yet. We knew what was going on overseas. We're in America. We think we think we got this way better than everybody else. Keep that in mind. And she's like, no, Jody. You know what? No, you need to plant some sunflowers. You need to open your own shop. You need to do this. I see you coming here, and I don't understand this, but I see these semis and like these racks, and there's body bags in it. And she goes, and I feel like you're going to be in one, and it's almost going to be like a Potter cemetery or something, because they won't know what to do with all the bodies. And I almost like, well, that doesn't sound very pleasing. I don't think I want to do this. And so I didn't go. I want you to understand that it was like end of February, beginning of March that she's telling me this, right?
Yeah.
Fast forward to May, June, and that's exactly what we saw in New York. We had no idea we were going to see that. They saw stuff like that in other countries, but in America, we were prepped. We were ready. We thought we had this down. Had no idea it was going to go as bad as it did. So, she's a very, very tuned in psychic. So when she said, you need to get on this. So that year I was like, okay, I'll start looking into it. So I didn't do too much until 2021. And then, okay, guys, I'm a nurse. I'm not a businesswoman. I don't know what to do with this stuff. So I started looking and researching, and I found a business advisor to teach me kind of the ropes. And I was like, okay, well, what do we need to do next? What kind of license? This. And then he's just like, you need to rent a place. I'm like, what? We're there? Oh my God. And so I did. And I opened my store on April 28th of 2022. I've been here just over a year and a half. And the community support, I want to say, the pagan community support, number one, but the actual community support was better than I ever expected. I mean, I get a couple leers. I get a couple like, oh, there's that weirdo lady. But, for the most part, everybody's super nice. Or they come up and ask me questions because they're like, what does this mean? Or what do you see with this? Or how does this work? So that they're not afraid. So I give them an education of, we're not afraid to be approachable. Come and approach us. Ask us questions because we're here to help. We're not... it's not like the movies. I mean, I have to say it, the whole green face, the whole, witches are evil from Hollywood has really put a bad stigma on us. And that's not the way we are. We're very caring individuals. We want to help people. Mm-hmm. Now, are there some out there that may take it to a different level? Oh, I'm not going to say no, because I'm sure there are. I'm not one of them, but you can't have always good. You will have bad with the good. I mean, that is just, it's the balance. It's the balance of the scales. You have to have that. But if you have bad people out there doing naughty stuff, it's the good people like me that try to reset that balance and make it better for others. So yeah, we do a lot of education. In fact, Diet doesn't know yet. I've expanded.
You did do it? Yes.
But,
you were talking to me about that. I'd seen it happen. I'm like, it's going to happen. I know I'm teaching a new space at Jody's.
Yep.
I'm so excited.
It's mine. I'm actually in there this week and putting up the wallpaper and doing the painting. So it's running by the first. We already we just had Reiki 1 for witches. We actually started that course last week with one of my practitioners here who is doing it. And so we had the first class last week. We have tonight, tomorrow night, and it's Reiki 1. And when we do the Reiki courses at our place, it's not like your typical, hey, we're going to go in for a week. And oh, no. You're going to get the education like nurses do. So you're going to get the full gamut. I go a bit more in depth with my stuff just because I want you to have the true understanding so that you can go out and do the right things. And Diet knows, she's known me well enough to know I don't take anything lightly. When I do it, you're getting the full gamut and you're going to get
everything.
Best education, whether it's for witchcraft or astrology. We have a beginner astrology class this week, Thursday.
I wish I was closer to you.
And then, well, we're working on getting it online. I'm trying to get cameras so in the new place that we can do everything online to reach more people. This is the goal to have done. But we have a secondary astrology class coming up on October 5th, and it's astrology for magical practitioners. That would be the one you'd want.
Oh, I think I'll need to take that. I will. I can keep telling people I'm not a witch in this lifetime because I know I'm not. I've done a lot of it in a lot of past lifetimes. I've gone into those lifetimes and I've learned from the fire, quite literally spent a whole lifetime learning from the fire. And to explain that in this lifetime, people go, huh? And I'm like, seriously, you just talk to the fire. It talks to you. And incredible,
And that's the way it is. And the beautiful thing is with the new center, so it's called Midwest Witchery Healing Center. We have an area now for the full Reiki practicing. I've got a shamanic healer. So we do shamanism here. And it's a true witchcraft store. So my store is not your typical metaphysical store. Everybody thinks that, you're going to come in, it's going to be just straight metaphysical. It's not. I carry very authentic stuff. So this beautiful piece that Dieta is showing you.
I love this. I'm getting one of these for Addie.
Right. And this is a selenite broom. What people don't understand is, yes, you can take the bristles to sweep negativity away from your altar, your area, but then you can turn around and point it and it can be used for cleansing or to point that energy, because there's a point on that piece to direct it like a wand, or for cleansing, because selenite is a huge cleanser of our aura, of our, our whole being, and wipe away that negativity. But I carry very authentic pieces. So when I go out and I do go to Salem, I go to different places in Massachusetts for different vendors. I have different vendors around the states, period. But I have everything is ethically sourced. I want to know where my product comes from, how it's doing. I will not allow any kind of child labor involved. If it's a stone that it might be kind of sketchy where it comes from, I won't carry it.
Right.
Go to that depth. The candles that are made here, like I don't have one sitting up here, but I have teacup candles that I actually create, like antique teacups, and I cleanse the teacup. I do a cocoa palm mix with a little bit of soy because I don't care for soy as much. So I usually stay with my cocoa palm because I want it to burn clean so that there is no kind of products going into the air. I actually color my dye. I actually scent my dye, so I know exactly where everything comes from. So nothing is kind of harmful to not only to humans, but to the earth or to animals. And I put specific herbs and crystals into these teacups and do them at a specific moon phase to get the most potent potential that you can get out of this for your spell candles. I work with other collaborators who create stuff like Shadow Wicks, who make these beautiful products, who does the same type of thing I do. I work with people so that pagans can get their product out because they don't have a brick and mortar. So they come to me and they're like, hey, so I do have a lot of really cool pieces here that you're not going to find anywhere else. You're not going to find them in the Twin Cities because guess what? They're not a metaphysical store. It's a real witchcraft store, and I'm dealing with the real people. I'm bringing in a clothing line. Yeah. So that was a big ordeal for me to bring into a clothing line because you have to know where it's sourced. I'm not going somewhere where it's sourced inappropriately. So the prices are going to be a bit higher, but look where it's coming from. You're getting very authentic stuff. Some stuff that's come out of Canada. I work with this really great company. In fact, I'll put it out there because my prices will be no different than if you did it online, but it's called Blackwood Castle, and her stuff is amazing. I just ordered, I think it's called the Delta dress, and it's like an embossed type of material. It's black and it's very gorgeous, and it's embossed almost like upholstery in a way. Right. And I thought it was going to be in my October. It's not coming until January. I'm like, what?
It's okay. It's going to be there when it's supposed to be.
She makes everything. And so, she gets all this stuff done and she does, oh my gosh. And she put the research into it to make sure that everything is authentic. She stands behind her stuff like I do. That's why I'm so cautious with everything, because I want you to know it's coming from the purest form. There's never any animal cruelty with any of my stuff. There is never any kind of human type, slavery, trafficking, anything like that kind. I am so involved with all this, and it's important to me because I want to give you the best product. And that's what I do. That's what I stand behind. And that's why people come back to me. I mean, we've got beautiful practitioners from tarot, psychic readings, mediumship, crystal ball, palmistry. I mean, I have the full gamut. The Reiki practitioners, as I said, all that kind of stuff. We're bringing in a hypnotherapist.
Oh
So
my gosh.
past life regressions and do some trauma healing and whatnot. I'm actually, on top of the course I'm doing with Diet, I'm actually getting certified to be a past life regressionist on top of it. So I'm like,
that would be so good. That's something I want to do. Like you would believe. I'm going to be taking courses not from you, from a distance. I'm telling you.
Yeah, no, it's been, when Lori told me I was going to do this and it was going to be fantastic. It
is a couple of things. First, a while ago when you were talking about Lori, for the first time in my life, I felt like I've got to meet this woman. And it's a rarity if I feel like I have to meet somebody. And we already know the story of me and Lori. I mean, I loved Lori from a distance. I was in awe of Lori. When I walked into her store, unbeknownst to knowing it was Lori's store, I hit the wall going, I'm terrified. And, and I was scared to death because I was like, oh my God, where am I at? What am I doing? But and I had an opportunity to meet her and I went, nope. Scared out of my wits. Not going to do this. And the guy giggled at me. For the first time in my life, which I know it probably isn't. Well, I can't say it's not possible because anything's possible because something's telling me I need to meet her. And apparently it will happen then. So I'm going to leave it at that one. So that one's kind of mind blowing to me. And I figured that would blow your mind.
Well, maybe, Diet. I'm just saying, just maybe. I know it's really pushing the grade here, but I happen to be going out there from October 4th until October, whatever Sunday is, October 8th or 9th. I'm going to go and be in the parade with the Cabots. They have the Haunted Happenings. It's a kickoff. It's a big grand parade for Salem for the big Halloween season. So I'm going to go march in that. And if you have nothing going on.
Well, you know how much is going on that weekend? But
I have no idea.
We're having my grandson's birthday is October 7th. And we're having a Halloween birthday party for him because he wants everybody to dress up. So the whole house is all that eerie, spooky, the stereotypical. You'd love it, though. You'd be like, all about it.
You know that.
You're oh, my God. And he's going to be 4, and he's the one going, this is what I want for my party. So we've been Halloween at the house since mid-September.
I've been in Halloween. My house is Halloween September 1st because I can get away with it now.
Right, exactly.
But I have Halloween year-round because I have got a witch weather vane on my house. So if you came and hunted me down in Stillwater, you'd be able to find me.
Exactly. So that was the first thing. We did put your website up there for the store because people are like, where's this website? Where's this link? So
we don't have a lot on the website, but the classes are on there, and you can book readings with my readers online. We're actually doing it so that right now it's in person, but Jake Ryan, who is one of my readers, he is very techno suave, as Diet knows I'm not.
Right.
So he is actually devising stuff so that people can come up here and you can have a reading, because then my reader can sit here at my desk with my computer system, and then we can do that. So people can do online readings too.
And guys, I have to tell you, a couple of her readers are my students, so I'm going to vouch for her and her quality. What she has, I don't know them all, but I know she's bringing my students in, and they're phenomenal. I know her quality is really high.
Very hard to become a reader here. It's not just like, hey, I read tarot, can I come in? And it is an audition process. You have to sit with not only myself, but you have to sit with Jay Ryan, who is he's my divination management. Yeah. He and I've known each other over 14 years, and it was something out of a classic story. He met my daughter, they became fast friends, and he's been reading tarot since he was 12, and he is truly a divine medium psychic. I got to tell you, his abilities, I've never met anybody as good as him. I mean, he's the best of the best. I mean, and I have been all over the states, and I've had different readings, in Salem, out in Boston. I have had readings around the Twin Cities here. I've all over the place. He blows some of the people that I know that are very highly respected out of the water, because he'll be sitting there, he'll be doing a tarot reading, all of a sudden he'll go, wait a minute, blah, 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 and he's throwing the psychic medium shit in the middle of it, and it's like, and the sitter is sitting there like, where'd that come from? But that was my grandma. I mean, he's that good. It's just,
awesome.
he is really, really, really good. I also have Wes back, so Diet will be so happy about that. He is back up here. He's my practitioner from New Orleans. He's a hoodoo voodoo priest who comes from New Orleans, has read at Marie Laveau's House of Voodoo and at Bottom of the Cup, which is one of the tea places down in New Orleans. But he's back up here in Minnesota, living in Faribault, and he is actually creating a spiritual retreat center for mystics to come. This is in the works for this next year. And so I am so excited to have him coming back. But like Diet says, I have a few of our students here.
I love this. I'm so excited.
So I'm really happy. Things are going well. But please, if you're in the area, pop in and see me. Go online and check us out.
I love this. Sherry asked a question. She said, do you believe that sometimes it's necessary to go into the dark to pull out the light?
Yes, because that's called shadow work. Mm-hmm. You need to sit with yourself. So you almost have to be really quiet, kind of tone things down, just sit for a minute and go, okay, higher. So I'll pick on me. Okay, higher Jody. What is it that I need to know today? Mm-hmm. And how do I go back to heal? And a lot of times higher self is up here saying, okay, Jody, right now, y'all need to go down to see little Jody from when she was a little girl, from when she was picked on or whatever. Go give her a hug and tell her you are this strong witch, this strong individual, and it's okay to have these feelings. Don't doubt yourself. Don't doubt yourself. Trust that gut. It's going to come. It's full circle. It's meant to be. And, that's how you do it. Sometimes it's relationships. So let's say you have a bad breakup with boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever the case is, and you're like very angry with them because maybe they cheated on you. Okay. And so you really just want to get them back. Mm-hmm. Instead of getting back at them, sit in the moment. It's okay to grieve. It's okay to hurt, be angry, be depressed, have, denial, bargaining, the whole stages of grief. It's okay to do that. You have that right. Mm-hmm. But take a moment to go back and look at what happened to them when they were young or in the past that would create that moment for them to hurt you. Because something probably has happened to them that made them act that way. Maybe they didn't have a proper parent to tell them that this is inappropriate. Maybe they saw it happening in a family or in other relationships and just thought that was the norm. There could be something going on with that. So then you have to look at your higher self, and to be that better individual, you have to learn to forgive them. And let me tell you, that's a big pill to swallow. I've been divorced 2 times. I'm on my 3rd marriage. The first one was a lot easier for me to handle. The second one, not so much. I had children with my second husband, and I'll be honest, I don't care for the individual because I was very hurt by a lot of different things. And to this day, he does not have communication with they're adult children. My daughter is 29. My son is 24. So they're turning 30 and 25 within the next few months. And I have a grandchild. He has no communication with my children. He has no communication with my grandchild.
Wow.
Did for a couple of months, briefly this last winter, and that was it. And that was like a once in probably 8 years that he was communicating with his biological children. And I had to go back, and I was angry because how could you do that to our kids? But I have to look at what is it that I need to learn from it? Mm-hmm. And why is it hurting me so much? And when I went and divulged into that, I realized the hurt came from the fact that when I was 7, my dad died. I didn't have a father figure. So now I'm hurting because I'm seeing my children not having that father figure in their life anymore. They have a stepdad who's great. My husband, Jake, is fantastic. But I tell you what, the biological dad, not so much. And I wish him nothing but wonderful things to come his way that he deserves in his life. Mm-hmm. And I hope he gets what he is looking for. I hope he heals himself, because his biological father walked away from his mother when she was 6 months pregnant with him. And so his stepfather adopted him, and he doesn't have any contact with his biological father. This is a continual repetition. It's a generational trauma, and my children are ending it. And I'm proud of my kids for ending it.
And I'm going to tell you guys, this is beautiful because it's Jody. But you will find this attitude, this way of life with any authentic witch. That is, I will say, a witch of the light or a good witch, because Patty Negree is a really good friend of mine, the Hollywood witch.
I know her very well.
I love Pat. I mean, I teach for Patty's school, her university. I love Patty.
Yes.
And those are Patty's words to a fault. She will never wish anything dark or negative on anybody. She's like, you send out love. And because it's almost like it's a spell in its own, because you're sending out this love, you're sending out these good wishes. People don't realize that thoughts are reality. Your thoughts are magic. Your thoughts are a spell. And when you send out this beautiful positiveness, you don't realize not only are you giving that to the person, you are wishing good on them. Yes. You're saying, if it's karma, if it's whatever else you want to believe of, let the universe take care of that. You don't have to.
I look at it as healing. I don't even want to say karma. I want to say it's healing, because with Matthew, my ex Matthew, I'm like, you know what? Mm-hmm. He does have 2 other children with another woman after our divorce, because we were young when we met. Right. But I don't want anything to happen to his other children.
No, you want them to have that break.
And you want them to have dad in their life, and you hope that he's learned. But I wish him well, because I foresee certain things that I know my children are not going to rectify, but because I'm psychic and I know this. Right. But in my heart of heart and my hopes of hopes, I would hope that he would rectify. Now I got a grandson. His name is Tommy, and Tommy, maybe he'll rectify with grandpa one day. You
never know.
You never know. And you would just hope nothing but love and healing for them. And that is something that's what Dad says. Even if you're thinking, I don't like that person, or, oh, they look ugly in that outfit, don't say stuff like that, because your words are power. So all you little newbie witches out there, I call you Mick witches, because I don't like saying baby witches, because none of them are baby witches. You just one day realize, oh my God, I'm a witch.
Right.
You're always born with it. What I will say to you is this: when you do your spells, use the words I have, I own, I am. Don't ever say I wish, I want, da 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 da. You state it as if it has already happened, that it's in the present moment. You own it. That is the number one thing I can teach you, because the most strongest thing in your tool cabinet as a witch, yourself. It's yourself. It's your intention. That is what is so powerful. People who come here, they ask me for spells, and I have something that's really neat here. Nobody else in the Twin Cities has this. In fact, I don't think anybody else, period, has this. I'm trademarking it. It is called the Spell Bar. You come in, and I will create a magic circle. So I will cast an actual circle, and you and I work together.
Thanks, Larry. Have a great day, dear.
To do a magic spell, and you get to take the spell bottle home with you. But I don't want the new job. You want the new job. It's got to come from you. Mm-hmm. My intention is going to be the same as yours. I'm going to lend you my energy to kick it out there into the universe and give you that potential. And the people that come back to me after we've done it, holy crap, Jody, it worked. And I'm like, well, yeah, why wouldn't it?
Exactly.
Sometimes it might take a little bit longer. But I had one that came in for a fertility spell, and she really suffered for a long time. And she got pregnant, and she was so excited, and she's doing very well in the pregnancy at this point. There's a lot of cool avenues that you can do, and it's about your intention. But that is something really cool and unique here that nobody else offers, is to be able to do the spell bar, and you get to work with an actual witch and to create this yourself. It's not that, oh, you're going to pay so much money out here on TikTok land or wherever. Right. You get to be a part of it. All these people that are out there doing that, not saying that their stuff isn't real, because it is. Mm-hmm. But if you can be a part of it, it's going to be more intensified. It's going to work way better if your energies are actually instilled into it.
Exactly. And I'll tell you, for anybody that's in Wisconsin, Iowa, even Minnesota, it's not that far to get to Jody. I
I'm
literally
ready.
drove to Jody, and I'm in southern Wisconsin, drove to Jody, taught what, an 8-hour class, and
Yeah.
drove home and was in bed before 9.
Yeah, it's not bad to get here. In fact, to give you some landmarks, I'm literally an hour from Eau Claire.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in New Richmond, which is across the border.
Right.
Superior Duluth is a 2-hour drive from me, so for the northern, and to go down to, like down by La Crosse. My daughter goes down there quite a bit. I want to say La Crosse is like 2.5 hours away from me. If you go toward Madison, I think it's closer to,
It's about
it would be about 3.
it's about 3 to 3 hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah, so somewhere in there. So I'm not that far away. So,
No.
and Stillwater is beautiful. And you guys, there's bed and breakfasts up here. There's hotels up here. There's so many cool things. I'm on the river. I'm on the St. Croix River. There's paddle boats. Oh, we have a gondola for those of you that want to be romantic on the river with the gondola. Beautiful restaurants and unique stores, antique stores. And the foliage here right now, I'm telling you, come up this next weekend, peak.
Yeah.
It's going to be peak.
Oh, they're already changing already. It's like, holy cow.
I drove to Taylor's Falls with the Munchkin to go over to Wisconsin, over in St. Croix Falls. We took them to Ponderosa yesterday. Oh my God, the colors were
It
amazing.
started 2 weeks ago when I went to Hayward. I was like, wait, whoa. It's mid-September. You need to hold your horses. But the colors this year are so vibrant.
So what I will tell you guys, all
You
these
did a spell,
keep
didn't you?
telling you that it's going to be a mild winter.
Yes.
Hold on to your hats, honey. It's going to be bad. It's going to be a lot of snow, and it's going to be very bitter cold. You're going to have these peaks of up and down bitter cold. And everybody's like, oh, but blah, blah, blah. We got all this time. I'm like panicking, and I'm like talking to the pool guy, like, do you have the cover for my pool done? Because we need to close the pool. So I got to call him today because we're going to have snow. I would predict that we're going to have our first flurries within the next 2.5, 3 weeks.
Well, the funny thing is when I was in Hayward, people were asking me, and I actually looked at them. I said, I don't think it's going to be as bad as last year. And they're like, what? No, they're predicting a lot more snow. And in my mind, I'm like, it's not going to be as bad because the winter's actually going to go back to where it normally was. And you don't know what that feels like anymore, which means winter is going to be longer than it's been. It's not going to start in December. It's going to start in October, early November, where it's supposed to. And it's going to go into that, end of February, March. So you're going to have more snow because it's going to be over a period of time instead of getting dumped on at once.
It'll be like what I grew up with, where when I was a young kiddo. I mean, keep in mind, guys, I'm 56. I'm older now. But when I was in high school and in middle school, I very rare did you have a brown Thanksgiving. I remember snowmobiling. Okay, growing up snowmobiling in November. And Thanksgiving weekend was like the big hot one. You did your meal on Thursday and Friday and Saturday. We didn't do the Black Friday sales. We were snowmobiling.
Right. And you did that this year.
Yeah. And we did it even in March. So because I remember doing different runs that we would do.
Yeah. So
we are going to have longer winter. My trees were kicking out acorns in June, and having a farming family growing up, I watch what the earth does, and I watch what the animals are doing, and they're packing stuff in my poor little yard. I'm like, hey, little critters, I know you're bearing your acorns and little apples in my yard, but there's gonna be so much snow packed on top of it, you're not gonna find it.
Like, but I think it's because literally, yes, Christopher, that's her, hon. I don't think people realize that because it's been 10 years or better since we've had a normal winter. I mean,
I think so.
It's been 10 plus years. And I think people have said that this axis has shifted and we're never going to go back to winter. But this is the year we go back to it. It's like we've had mild winters, but it's been packed into 2 months versus 3 to 4 months, So right. I think people are they're gonna be like surprised, going, what the heck? But I think Christmas is gonna feel like Christmas. Thanksgiving is gonna feel like Thanksgiving. Yes. I think it's going to be nice, so I love that. Yeah. What else is there about Jody? I mean, gosh.
Oh, well, I'm a mother. I am a grandmother. I'm known as Oma, which is German for grandmother.
Well, I'm a Nana.
Yes, yeah, we'll tell you, I am a psychic medium.
Mhm.
She sees it.
She's a damn good one. Just had to tell her it.
Well, it's funny because people go, why'd you take dance classes? I said, because there's always something to learn.
Yeah.
I don't understand some things, and I want to know if there's a different way of doing it.
And she's found out she's really, really amazing.
Yeah, people come in. It's like I still get a little shocked when I'm getting notifications that people are signing up to have a reading with me, and I'm like, no, Katie's here. We're going to give it to Katie. And Katie looks at me because they don't want me. They want you. They signed up for you. I don't know. I'm going to give it to somebody else because it's weird for me because I hid it for so many years. It's hard to come out of that protective bubble. But my children, both my children are extremely, extremely talented. My son is very empathic. Diet, I don't know if you've met Justin, but he is from a different realm. I'm just going to say Jody, the other Jody Henningway. Oh my God, her and Justin are just like, whoa. So just like, watch out when those two get into a room together. My daughter, she's a physical medium. She's been able to do it since itty bitty. And when I caught it, she was like, when babies can sit upright, she was like, whatever, 8 months old. And she's like grasping at stuff. And I didn't think anything of it. And she's giggling. When she was 3, because, you were still doing the Christian thing and going to church like a good girl in the little towns. She was like, angels, mama, angels. And she would be pointing them out. Don't you see the angels? I'd be like, no. I'd see the prisms, but I didn't quite catch what she was seeing, But when my grandmother passed away, I was very mortified. I mean, she was like a mom to me, being an only child, losing my father when I was little. My grandmother wanted a casket spray and she wanted white calla lilies. And the long story short, I couldn't get the calla lilies. They were out of season. So I had all these beautiful array of flowers. The greens went from the top of the casket down to the ground. And I was just devastated over it. And I dwelled on it. And it was probably, I don't know, a couple of months after my grandmother died. I know it was in the summer, and she died on June 2nd. And my daughter was playing like My Pretty Ponies or Polly Pockets or whatever the hell she was playing on the floor. And I'm holding, my infant son, who is 6 months old at the time. And she's talking, and she's, and she always talked to imaginary friends in my head. So I was like, okay, well, whatever. And she looks at me and she goes, okay. She was like agitated. Somebody was bothering her. And she goes, Mama, great grandma says that the flowers were beautiful. And I go, what are y'all talking about? And she goes, great grandma says that the flowers are beautiful. On the box that she sleeps in, where it was, with the pretty greenery down to the floor. And I go, her casket? And she goes, yeah, what great grandma is sleeping in, the box she sleeps in. And I'm like, what are you talking? She goes, the white flowers, they were beautiful. And I'm like, do you see great grandma? And she goes, yeah, she's sitting in the rocking chair. And I was just like, so she's 5. So now I had to find somebody who could teach her along the way. I mean, I understood and I could do a lot of it, but I found somebody else because she's young and she's developing this stuff, and I'm in the midst of nursing school, and I'm like, wow, Right. So yeah, I've got very talented children. I love doing what I do. I love to go out and talk to people. It's still a little freaky when I walk out on the street and people go, oh my God, it's Witch Jody. And I'm at my store because I got people here. So we're going to let that phone ring. But it's kind of like surreal when people kind of approach you like you're Witch Jody, because I'm known on social media as Witch Jody, and I do little tidbits all the time, as Diet knows. Mm-hmm. But getting that recognition, it's beautiful. And I'm just not used to that. I'm not used to having people coming at me like that. So I'm still kind of getting adjusted to it. But I always tell people, don't ever be afraid to approach me. Don't, you can email me questions too. And that's easy. I know Dad had my website up, but on my website, it has contact information. Yep. It's got the store phone number, the hours. It's got my email, so you can email me. I'm really good at responding and stuff like that. I'm just me, I'm loving every moment of my life. I mean, I'm happy. I'm just happy. And Diet will even say I'm settled in. I guess that would be the way to say it.
It's been beautiful just to watch the journey from the very first conversation we had to now. And I will say, as I've watched you, just really, you were already in your own, but as you kind of you start dropping these walls and really walking into yourself, even your energy has gone from to whoosh.
Mhm.
And it's like, because it's almost like you're like, I have nothing more to hide behind. I am just,
Take
I'm
me or
here.
leave me. The best way to explain it is, and for you guys that are watching the show, you're going to understand this. We're energy.
Mhm.
When our physical body dies, we still exist
Yeah.
in a different level and in a different realm. And it's vibrational. And Dia will concur with this that when we're afraid, we vibrate a little bit lower because we're doing this, we're sheltering in. And when we can go, you know what? It's okay to be me. It's okay to be Jody. It's okay to be a witch out in the public. And you let that go. The people who don't vibrate at your level because you're lifting your elevation up, they will start dropping off. Now, it can be hurtful to lose certain people, family members, whatnot. But in the tail end, you feel better.
You
You
do.
resonate more. And it's helping you elevate because that was your life path. You chose these moments in time. You chose these little harnesses and hiccups so that you could get through. Not every hiccup is something you want, but it's a learning point in your life. And so you learn from it, you take it, and you go, how can I utilize this and get it better? And you build from that. And I've done an awful lot of that. And as I'm looking, I'm finally figuring out how to see the comments now. As Christopher says over here, energy cannot be destroyed. And you're very right. And, I do death dueling, and I've seen people pass many a times over the year. I'm very comfortable with death. Very, very comfortable.
I'm going to become a death doula.
I'm so proud of you. There is such a sense
Decided to do it.
There is such a sense of peace with it. And you would not only help the person cross or to pass from this energy form to the next, you're helping the family in that moment, that special moment of grieving, and you're helping them understand that, their loved one is no longer hurting. They're no longer suffering. And that they've elevated and they're not gone. As we know, Diet, they're not gone.
They're still here. Trust me, I talked to a lot of people this weekend and they're all still here.
And my mom, so in the midst of opening all this, you guys, so this is how crazy life gets. When they're going to throw you hurdles, as Diet says, spirit and your higher self decide they're going to throw you. You know what? You're so scared. We're going to throw everything at you at once just to see how you handle it. So I signed my lease for my place. It was in February. It was a bit like the first week of February. Okay. And I had just found the place in January, signed it like the first week of February. My birthday is February 9th. And my mom kept telling me she was sore on a part of her leg. Mom, go in. You probably have a blood clot. She was on blood thinners. So she went in, and sure enough, she had a small little blood clot by her knee. And so I go with, I get a call from my aunt because she had taken her there and I was working, and I said, okay, well, I'm coming. I left work at like 3 and I zipped over to Richmond, and I hadn't left my nursing gig yet. Mind you, I was still working as a 0.9 RN. So now we're 12-hour shifts. So I was working 3 days a week, 36 hours, trying to open the store. I'm an only child.
Right.
My dad died when I was little. I'm in the ER with my mom. And they're deciding that they're going to keep her because, she's got to be on heparin for the clot, blah, blah, blah. And the ER doctor walks in and goes, so we need to discuss the kidney cancer that you have. We had no idea she had cancer. And I'm like, excuse you, what? And Mom and I are in shock, and I hear, and this is when my psychic abilities really started taking off. I hear in my head, she'll be gone by the end of July. And I'm like, okay, so back to the moment. So Mom and I go through her little thing. We decide she's going to be hospice. She's got a lot of cardiac issues and whatnot. And she was 78 at the time. And so I'm her advocate. And my family got mad at me, like, how could you do this? Blah. And I'm like, her life, her choice. I'm her voice. I'm going to do what she wants. And so we're going through all this. We just get her started on hospice. I'm starting to decorate my store. I'm trying to do all this stuff. March 25th hits, and I'm planning on being open. I was trying to be open by the 1st of April, but it didn't quite get done then. My mom fell and tragically broke her hip. She had a hip replacement, and the spike actually fractured the femur. That's the long bone between the knee and the hip, straight down to the knee. And you have to have surgery for this. Otherwise, she would have been an invalid for life.
Right.
And Mom's like, I want to have surgery. And I'm like, you are going to die on the table. And she goes, so be it. So we set her pieces. We did everything, said her goodbyes, did the whole nine. She lived through a 5.5-hour surgery. And I sat and talked to anesthesia, and I said, it's okay to give her medicine, but no Edison. That means no zapping, no chest compressions. If she would go on the table, I was, we were okay with it.
Right.
She lived, she walked. I opened the place on April 28th, and Mom came down here a couple of times. Her birthday was July 20th, and we had left at the very end of June, beginning of July. We went and did it like a last go away weekend, just the two of us. Had a great time up in Duluth, and we did her birthday on the 20th. The 21st, I had my ribbon cutting ceremony here with the Chamber of Commerce, because I'm a part of the chamber here in town. And that Friday, the next day, on the 22nd, I'm at work and I'm talking to Sarah and Tara, one of her students, and I hear in my head, I go, it's a little voice that goes, Tiddlywinks. And it was Tiddlywinks. That was my nickname by my father. My girlfriend Sarah said, holy shit, you turned white. What just happened? I'm like, I gotta go. I gotta go see my mom. And she goes, what? And I said, I think my dad was just talking to me. And so I went. I get she was in a nursing home at the time, going through care. And she is like, what the hell are you doing here? Just happy as hell, having a great time. My mom never did that slump and then up. She was just doodle, and then that was it. There was no.
It was there, but it went so fast that you never even see. That happens, and
that happens with Mom, and it was fine. Mom and I were ready whenever it happened. Whenever it happened, it was going to be fine for us. And so the next day, I'm at work, and I had just like that gut. And being a nurse, you listen to your gut. And I'll tell anybody out there listening, if you have a gut instinct, listen to your gut, because your body is going to give you that reaction. You better follow it. It knows exactly before you do. So I called my daughter and I said, you need to come. She lived down in Rochester, Minnesota at the time. I said, you need to come with the baby. Grandma's going to die this week. And she's like, what? And I said, Grandma's going to die this week. Get your ass up here, because if you don't, you're not going to get a chance to see her.
Right.
I just had that gut. So she came. Once again, we go in there and she's on the phone having a good old time. She's like, the hell are you doing here? And we're giggling and stuff. And I had made it arrangements with the nursing home that she could have a cocktail every day. So she'd have her little siphon of apricot brandy on the ice. So like 2 shots a day. It was her little medicinal. And so we had a great evening. She was standing and looking out the window at my grandson, her great grandchild, doing banana nana boo boo, dancing. We were having fun and we had a great time. And I said, Mom, Bailey's got to go home tomorrow. It's going to be Sunday. I said, we're going to come in tomorrow morning. What do you want for breakfast? We're going to have family breakfast. Justin and I. She goes, don't you have to work? I said, not until noon. It's fine. And she goes, okay. So I brought her sweet rolls she wanted cinnamon rolls with frosting, and she wanted Hawaiian coffee. And I came in hand with all of it. And I got to the door and her door was shut, and I opened it and the kids are behind me, and I slammed that door shut and the kids hit me and said, go sit down. I didn't even walk in the room. I hadn't even seen my mom yet. I went and touched that door, started opening it, and I felt the energy and I knew she was gone, and I needed them to go sit down. So I went in. The nursing staff didn't even know she had passed yet. And I walked in there and she wasn't physically dead, but she was no longer in her body, and she was standing in the corner of the room.
Right.
And I went up there and I'm like, okay, this is really happening. And it was a shock to me, but yet I knew it was coming. And so I did the sternal rub, pinching and talking to her, doing the nursing thing. Right. Because at that moment I took off daughter hat and I put on nursing hat. That's how I survive. And I went through the thing and I knew she was gone. She was in a comatose state. I walked out of the room and I went and talked to my kids and I said, look, I got to go get a nurse. her pills were actually sitting on the side table yet. So she had been in there and alert at some point. They never contacted me or anything to say that she was failing. And when I left that night, I said, if she starts tanking quick, you call me, I'll be here. I didn't want her to be alone when she passed. Mom didn't care if she was alone or not, but it's a thing for me. I was there for my grandmother, and it was hard for me. So I did my thing, and the nurses came, they did their thing. And I sat and talked to my kids. I said, so grandma's going to die today. And they looked at me and they're like, how do you know this? I said, because I know.
Right.
6 hours later, she passed very peacefully.
Right.
And Bailey and I, it was kind of funny when we walked in the room, and we had the baby, and Tommy was 1.5 years at the time. And all of us, every single one of us, I mean, the only way I know how to explain it is you walked in the room, her bed was like on the far wall, and there was a window over there, and the bathroom was kind of tucked back around over here. And all of us just turned to go look at where that bathroom was. And Bailey looks at me, and Justin, we all looked at each other, and we were like, okay, so we all see it. We all know that she's not physically in the body, and we were okay with it. So Justin had a harder time because he's very empathic and he can feel everything. And so he's like, can I have a moment alone with Graham? And I said, absolutely. And she had kind of came to the house the Tuesday before and kind of had said her goodbyes to the kids outside alone. Right. I knew, but I didn't talk about it because I wasn't there yet. And so we sat and chit-chatted, and Justin had his moment. He goes, I'm going to go home because Mom, it's just too much for me. And my son is on the spectrum, on the autistic spectrum. He's more Asperger's than he is autism, but he's just too much. And so I sent him to be on his way. And Bailey and I just sat there with Mom, and hospice came in. After 3 hours of a hospice not coming, I called him and said, where the hell are you people? Seriously? And nobody at the nursing home had even contacted because we were running short-staffed. So I was really glad that I was there to make sure Mom passed peacefully. And the kicker of all of it is we knew, because on my birthday in February, I heard that voice say she'll be gone by the end of July. She died July 24th. To push it even a grain further, the Monday before, Mom goes, we need to move stuff, because I moved her out of her condo. So I had some of her furniture in my garage, and she was like getting all like bent out of shape. She'd come over, she wanted to go through stuff. And I'm like, how many times am I going to go through your clothing with you? And she's like, we need to do this. We need to get this stuff moved because Justin needs to put his car in the garage for the winter. And I said, Mom, we got time. It's not even August yet. And she goes, well, why is the furniture still in the garage? I said, because I'm having new floors put in my dining room on August 1st. And she goes, well, when the hell is that? And I said, well, Mom, it's like, in 2 weeks. And, because it's like a week before she died, she was like, oh, well, okay. And it was like, something must have clicked in her head. I don't know. And it's just amazing that she did what she did and passed when she did, because because at the tail end, the last couple of months, I was paying 100% out of pocket for her in a nursing home. And for those of you out there,
it's expensive.
It's like $12,000, $13,000 a month. It's a lot of money. And Mom didn't have a lot left. Right. And I had always told my mom, I said, you spend every red cent. I'm a nurse. I got this. I don't need your money. And she died. And when she died, that last check that I wrote out left me with $10.79. And so it was like she knew that if I don't do this, then we're going to have to go on state assistance, and it's going to be more complicated because I had her vehicle, there's furniture, there's antiques. It would have gotten a little bit more complicated because she didn't own her condo. She was renting it at the end, and we just went through everything that she had from her pension and stuff, or not pension, but her whatever it's called, savings account, retirement account that she had.
Right.
But we made it. And I am not even kidding you. Right away, she was showing me signs she was here. Like the day after she died, Bailey really wanted to go to the nursing home. We had to go there to sign, I think, the death certificate. I don't remember. We had to go sign something. I don't remember. Or not nursing home, at the funeral home. I had everything prearranged. But I had to go sign something. And Bailey and I did not know this. Bailey and my daughter had made a pact. Now, my mom didn't want to see anything. She just I want to be cremated, bury me with your dad, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay. The only thing my mom knew is I got a heart-shaped gravestone. Mom had a hard time talking about stuff. She just didn't want to. And so I said, okay, get there. And Bailey they wanted to know if we wanted to see the body one more time. I said, no, Bailey, you don't want to see her. It's been a day after. And Dia and I, being nurses, they get real hollow again. They do not look the same. And it's very traumatic for family members. Being a nurse, I've seen stuff. It doesn't quite freak me out, but I was worried about Bailey's mental health. And she goes, please, Mom, I need to do this. And I'm like, oh, and I really didn't want to see Mom like that. And I am not even kidding you. So we went to go see her, and she is, laying on a gurney, and she's covered with a blanket and everything. And first, the blanket has blue butterflies. Then we look at Mom. She was not hollowed in. She looked just like she was sleeping. She didn't have any blue hues to her. She didn't bled out, nothing. It was like almost eerie, like she's still alive. It was like, okay. And so I think Mom somehow did this or camouflaged us so that we saw her that way, so it wouldn't be traumatic for Bailey. And we walk out and we go back and sit in the room and we pull out the urn, confirming this is definitely the urn. Again, blue butterflies on the beautiful porcelain urn. And Bailey stopped and she goes, when did you pick out that urn, Mom? I said, back in May. And she goes, did you tell Grandma? And I said, no, Grandma wouldn't. She didn't want nothing to know. No, she didn't want nothing to know. I said, I told her the tombstone looked like great grandma's with a heart on it. Other than that, she knew nothing. And she goes, Grandma and I made a pact 2 weeks ago that she would show me blue butterflies when she's around. I'm just, man, that is divine intervention, right?
That's beautiful. Jody, thank you for such a beautiful morning and sharing your story, all of your, which is awesome. Oh, hi from Liverpool. Love it. Hi, Eddie.
Hi, Eddie.
Thank you. And hi, Bill and Angela and all these people, Carla, all these people.
Yes, thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you for your story and just sharing you and showing up. We've put up there at Midwest Witchery. Find her either on, on Facebook or the website, or just show up on her doorstep. She'll welcome you in and with big arms. And
I've got Instagram. I've got TikTok. I think TikTok says at Midwest Witchery in Minnesota. And Instagram, it's just Midwest Witchery Healing. Midwest Witchery and Healing on Facebook. Follow me, you guys. I put out all sorts of fun little tidbits. I show pictures. We do little quirky things. It's fun. It's a lot of fun, and that way you can be involved from afar.
Exactly. Well, thank you, Miss Jody. For everybody else, we're going to go to a break, and I'm going to come back with your weekly reading. This is Dad here with School Through Spirit on WLTKDB. See you in a few.
Everybody.
Jody, thank you. Everybody, welcome back. I am Diet here. I'm your host of WLTKDB.com, School Through Spirit. We've had the pleasure of having Jody Jacobson on. She is Jody of a second degree Cabot Witch, and she owns Midwest Witchery in Stillwater, Minnesota. So I'm glad you were in here, got to watch her. It was awesome. I do want to do a shout out. I put up here another Facebook to follow or look at. It's called Moxie Malice. She makes jewelry. Now, this is really good stuff. Now, I only get behind stuff that is incredible. Okay. This is the Diet Raven collection. Okay. The Diet collection of jewelry. Okay. I'm going to tell you, look, I am putting out because I'm selling them. Why? Because it's my collection. So I wanted to bring this on and show it to you. I'm putting Moxie's Facebook stuff up there, Moxie Malice Facebook stuff up that, because if you want to order them directly from her, you can. You just tell you want one of the Diet bracelets. But this is also, you can get one from me. Oh, I love that. I love that, Lee. This bracelet was created with all my intentions into it. As you see, it does have a black tourmaline because I wanted a black stone to represent my raven. She put it, and it's the raw tourmaline. It had to be raw. I didn't want anything polished on the raven anyway. So that's what it is. It's raw. It's for protection. It's for grounding, which I love. I'm going to read to you all the other crystals are on this because I wanted a bracelet that when you put it on, you felt it, you felt the energy of it, and it lifted you as high as we could to the angels on that spiritual realm, connection, healing, all of it. Okay. And that tourmaline is to protect you and ground you, which is awesome. So the different stones that are on here is the black tourmaline, as we've talked about, the clear quartz. It's to amplify energy, clarity, connection to the divine. The fluoride's on there for inner peace, healing, connection to her higher self. Pre-night, the healer's healer, heart support, divine love and energy. Green angelite, which is creating new rebirth, connection to psychic abilities. And she even added selenite in there. And as we all know, selenite is very much, it's a cleansing stone, but it's also that connection to the angels, connection to higher and those psychic abilities to be able to speak to the other realms. So this is the bracelet. I love it. This bracelet is $44, guys. If you do want one, the price will be a little bit higher just because I have to ship it. But really, it's only the price when I have to go get a bag and put postage on it, which really isn't going to be that much unless you're in the UK. Then it might be a little higher, but there you go. So if you want one, you can go to my Facebook, send me a message saying you want one. We can figure out way for payment and address to get one shipped to you. And it also, as you know, you can go to Moxie Malice, which is up there. I love them. They're not tight. These are made, guys, I'm telling you, not to just break all over the place. I love these. I love these. So, and trust me, I've had some people buy them. They used them in some paranormal adventures this weekend. They said they truly did work. I used up, my energy was like drained. I picked one up, I held it, and I was like buzzing again. So there is that. Now I need to put it back so I don't lose it, because I will lose it. Oh my God, cards are falling all over. Cards are falling over. I got to get it before I can do a reading. I don't even know where they fell. Oh my God. Way under the table. How's that for a hair flip? Should have been in the water. Anyway, so let's get this reading done. In honor of Todd, one last time, guys, the Halloween Oracle by Paranormal deck. We're going to use this because who doesn't love this? 5-card stud is what we are playing today. And that does mean that you are going to pick a card. 1 card, 2 cards, multiple cards, all the cards, whatever you want to do, because this is your reading for yourself for the week. I'm going to shuffle them and tell you what each individual card is. And after that, I'm going to read it as a full reading, as a 5-card reading. Okay. So, so let's do this. So let's do the 5-card stud here, guys. Perfect. So I am going to shuffle as I always do. Card number one. This is Lady Dolores Moretos, Acceptance and Equality. I love this. Oh my gosh, is that not cool? And I want to look at the acceptance part of this. And yeah, obviously being equal, but I really do believe it's the acceptance card. It's you accepting yourself. And if you pick card number 1, that is what you're working with. You're accepting yourself. You're accepting circumstances. You're accepting who you are. You're in this acceptance phase. And for those of you that have been having a hard time kind of looking at yourself and accepting this and wondering if people are going to accept you, this card is saying that guess what? They are. Yeah, people might fall to the wayside. Things might fall to the wayside, but definitely for the most part, acceptance is going to happen as soon as you start to accept yourself and or the circumstance. The next one is intuition. It's the scrying card. Intuition. And I love this because I've learned to love tools. But intuition. If you pick card number 2, that's something you're working on and you need to start paying attention to it. So it is looking at it and going, oh, I knew it. I knew it. Why didn't I act on it? Gosh, why didn't this happen? So it's starting to looking at that, trusting it. When you get the gut instinct, when you get that feeling, if you pick card number 2, this is happening. It's time for you to start going, got it. Gonna run with that one. So that's a really big card. Card number 3 is the most magical hour of all, the midnight, which I think this card says it all. And I don't think it's meaning that it's midnight right now, but you really are in the magical moment of yourself right now. And when I look at that, you are looking at yourself going, wait a second, I am who I am. I am who I am. And that's magical. That is within yourself. You are just going, oh, this is me. This is me. And this is your magical moment. This is your time. Now, we're going to have several of those in a lifetime. But this card to me is telling me that you are in this for yourself. You've put the clock around your neck and you've went, this is my time. And that's what that's about. Card number 4 is fortune meets opportunity, guys. Fortune meets opportunity. I'm going to take all these cards so far. So fortune meets opportunity. When we're looking at that, this is telling me that doors are opening and you're going, holy shit, I never seen that coming. Like, wow, what was that about? And I do believe that's what this is. It's that fortune meets opportunity. It means, oh my gosh, opportunities are happening. Doors are opening, but you didn't have to work for this. You didn't have to go out for this. This is like showing up going, what just happened to me? And that's really what that's going to be like. You're going to have a lot of holy cow moments. And the last card, I love this because it really is bringing it all together, is happiness is in the hearts and the homes. Now, if you pick this as an individual card, this is where you're finding your happy place. You're finding that this is where life happens. This is where world happens. This is where everything happens. It's because it's within the home. Now, it doesn't have to be 4 walls. It can be right here. And it is coming back to your own heart. It is coming back to self and saying, this is where my happiness is. This is what I've created. This is who I am. And this is where that belongs. Now, great if the 4 walls meet with that too, but really the happiness is here. So card number 1 is acceptance and equality. Card number 2 is working with that intuition. Card number 3 is the most magical hour, which is really the time is now. Card number 4 is fortune meets opportunity. And card number 5 is that happiness within the hearts and homes. Now, these are really cool individual cards, but when I really throw them together, I'm going to tell you guys, this is accepting things that are happening around you. This is accepting everything around, but you know what? It's not the end. It's not the end. It really just means it's the beginning of something because you are bringing this together. You've accepted everything. You're believing in it. And you know what? You know all that's going to happen. And a lot of magic is going to be happening this week. Doors are going to be opening up. Opportunities are going to be happening. And guess what? It's because of what you've created yourself, what you've created up until this moment in time, your whole entire life. That is you that has brought this all together and just makes plain right out happiness, which is phenomenal, guys. Phenomenal. So hopefully the 5-card stud makes sense to you. Hopefully that helps you in some way, but let's bring out the Beyond Lemuria cards. I think for the first time ever, I said that correctly and without a blah, blah, Beyond Lemuria. So let's pull out these wonderful wordy cards because we love how wordy they are, or at least I do. And thank God I'm young enough, for my eyes are still young enough to see all the words because sometimes I have some difficulty with this. Sometimes I have some difficulty. So let's do some shuffling here. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. I feel like I need to really shuffle these cards for some reason. Let's do this, guys. Okay. So, She of the Lotus. She of the Lotus. If there is a way to fast track growth, it is by being real with the shadowy and unloved parts of ourselves. Shadows can be painful or tender to touch. Sensitivity can be triggered that shows us where we might want to spring clean some of our darker forgotten, ignored or hidden corners. Accepting our shadows is the first stage in restoring ourselves to wholeness in self-love. Peel back the layers where there is shame, guilt, or fear and bringing them into the daylight. Under a loving and compassionate light, there will resolve and resimulate reminding us that on the flip side of the coin, these are our superpowers. Look at yourself, guys. Accept you. Accept you. Accept all of you. And watch yourself unfold into the magic of who you are. I can't say that any better. I can't say that any better. Okay. So, guys, I'm going to have to bid farewell. Say goodbye. You can always follow me on Facebook, guys. You can follow me on my website. For all those that are wondering, I'm not getting rid of Todd. Todd's not getting rid of me. I'm not getting rid of Sherry or vice versa, because Todd is not just my producer. He's my friend. He's my web designer. And we have some projects in the work. It doesn't have anything to do with the station or being on air, but there's some other things. And you're just going to have to follow us on Facebook, both of us on Facebook, and just to see where we're going to pop out, where we're going to shine next. But we're going to finish this as it started, me and Todd. So thank you, everybody that has, I'm going to cry again, come out to watch us and love us. Love you guys. Bye.
The truth is here and now on WLTKDB Talk Radio at WLTKDB.com.